Well, the speculations continue when it comes to Nigel Farage and his return to the Tory party. Now, as you guys know, as things stand now, he's more of a media guy. He goes on show on TV and he's the honorary president of Reform UK. Now, that role aside, he's not really that active when it comes to reform, when it comes to campaigning for reform. He appeared at a couple of the press conferences, just came and said something and left. Obviously, he has not really proactively said that I've rejoined the Tory party or something like that. Every time you ask him, so what's going on, Nigel? Would you be Tory leader? His answer has always been kind of vague and saying, well, make sure to know that the Tory members want me back, right? He was on BBC Radio 4 being interviewed about this subject and specifically about becoming the next Tory leader. Not even joining as a member, but becoming Tory leader. This is what Nigel said.
Sometimes mooted is that if things go as you suggest they do for the Tories, you might one day consider joining them in the hope perhaps of a fairly senior position in the party. Is that a runner in your head as well?
I think if you ask Tory party members right now, they'd vote for me to be leader and not Rishi Sunak. Of that, I have no doubt at all, and that's backed up by polling. But look, let's focus on this general election. I'm backing reform. We'll have to see what active role I play. And maybe, after the Tories lose heavily, maybe they'll rethink what they actually stand for. Let's see.
That sounds awfully like a sort of a bit of a bid for the leadership of the Tory party.
No, it's not. But what we do need in this country is a centre-right government at the election after this that believes in a small state, encourages entrepreneurship, controls its borders, and actually believes in the country.
No, it's not. But what we need. So, for those obviously who might know Nigel, I know Nigel quite well and I know his language. You have to translate what it says at this point. It was interesting because it said, obviously I'm part of reform, but we'll still have to see how much of an active role I will have with reform that I'm the honorary president of when it comes to campaigning. Instead of actually saying I'm part of reform, I'm going to be campaigning for reform. No. We'll have to wait and see what I'll do. There's been a lot of speculations about Nigel even potentially starting a new party alongside reform or taking people from reform, waiting for reform to do whatever they want to do at the election and then decide later. I think most of it is about the waiting game because he's going to be busy during the UK general election. And then, of course, following that, I think it might be just after, or might be just at the same time, the US presidential elections. He's got his media channel show on GB News. He's going to be busy with that. And I think any move, because I know him, I know he's basically waiting to find a way to come back to frontline politics because he knows there's a need for it. Not that he's greedy. He's not doing it for his own ego. He's been forced to come back to frontline politics. And I think that the best way that he's going to be potentially doing it is after the election. Whatever happens will be afterwards. And he's probably going to be sticking with the whole GB News show instead of campaigning with reform so that he could utilize the media platform and then to see how successful or a failure Richard Tice is going to be and then decide whether there's going to be that the underground movement that is in the Tory party trying to take over the central office, CCHQ, because he's got friends there, Priti Patel, Jacob Rees-Mogg, those guys are leading that movement. He's going to see how that goes. Otherwise, we'll find out. But he can translate. He wants to come back. And he knows that the Tory party, unless reform managed to somehow be so successful in the upcoming general election, he knows that the shortcut would be to take over the Tory party with all the resources and all the money and all the manpower. That would be probably an easier way. But can he take over? Let me know in the comment section.